Okay, so this is going to be a weird story time kind of video, I guess. I've never done these, but it's like a thing that I want to talk about because it's kind of weird. So I'm just gonna tell you this video involves um like mentions of self-harm, suicide, eating disorder stuff. And it's not me, the different person psychotic stuff, um, memory loss, just abusive situations, toxic situations. Not like I might just go briefly over sexual assault. Um, yeah, that is about it. That's all the trigger warnings I'm gonna give you. So, you know, taking advice, it's gonna be an intense video. So I'm pretty much gonna talk about it now. In November 2017, I met a girl. Well, at the time they were a girl. I don't know how they identified this moment because at the end of our friendship, they said that they weren't sure about their gender. So I'm just gonna refer to them as they them because, well, I don't know. I don't want to misgender them even though they were crappy to me. Um, in November 2017, I met this person who DM'd me because they followed me on Instagram and I had like quite a big following at that point. Not like big as in like thousands of people, but like 500 people. Like there were quite a few people following me that are actively engaging in my account that I didn't actually know. So one of them people was a person I'm gonna call Robin in this situation, even though they were not called Robin, they were called something else, but I don't want to actually put their name out there because I don't know if their name has changed and I just don't want to just don't want to do that. So pretty much what happened was they messaged me on like a story or something and they were very very upfront about being depressed at the time and I had like this super weird thing in my head that I wanted to fix everybody and I thought this was good for me. I don't know why the fuck I thought that was a good idea, but anyway, I was trying to fix pretty much everyone who was coming on my path, and a lot of people would message me with like negative things, and I would just be very active in like the emo community. So that stuff happens. I also did this to other people. Like I would constantly tell people about my negative stuff. So with Robin, it was pretty much that they started messaging me about very negative stuff on like a because I posted some positive um, tag kind of situation on my story and they were just like, what if I don't want to be alive? I think that was the first message that they sent me, which is great start for friendship. So at some point in like January, February, I don't really remember, they would, in 2018, they would ask me if I had feelings for them because they had feelings for me and I was flattered, extremely flattered. Um, and I like them. I didn't I didn't like hate this person or anything like that. So I was just like, because I've never been in a relationship, right? And well, I don't know. I'm not good at knowing if I have feelings for people. So I was just like, sure. Like I enjoyed company and I felt really happy after they had said that they loved me in that way. So I was just like, whoa, sure. Like, yes, let's go for it. And, but because they lived in England and I live on the other side of the North Sea, so I live in the Netherlands. We decided that, well, and since we were like more than 200 kilometers apart, we should probably not actually date until we can be like together. So we are like, we preserve each other. You know how that doesn't work, but we dated, but not really. So from the get-go was kind of a crappy relationship because well, I was much older, so that already made it very creepy of me to say yes in the first place. I mean, I wasn't like much older as an adult. I was 16 and they were 14, so it was kind of weird, but not really. Um, I don't know, were they 14 or 15? I think they were 14. I was 16 at the time and I was going to turn 17 that year, which is still weird, but I was mentally not 16 like at all because I was just moving out like a year before that I just got out of like a super abusive relationship, family relationship with my grandfather. I was depressed as hell. Things were not going good for me either, so it was very easy for me to be interested in this person because they were, they were expressing feelings to me. So I never actually loved them in the way that they loved me. Like, I would be interested in the things that they were saying. I wouldn't mind if they were, expressing sexual things for me. I never really felt comfortable doing that to them because, one, they were much younger than me. So, and because of the amount of guilt trippy kind of situation that happened, that they would just tell me that I was the only person that could help them with all their emotional problems. Like, they would just be like, oh, I feel very depressed and I want to cut myself and all that stuff. And I would just be like, don't, bitch. And they were like, I can't not do it. And I get it, but what am I supposed to do about it? If you tell me, oh, I am feeling like you know that I struggle with this too. You know I'm depressed too. You know I struggle with self-harm tendencies as well. Why are you telling me this? And also telling me great detail about their eating disorder. Like, I don't want to know when you are going to purge. I don't want to know when you are starving yourself. I don't want to know about your weird diet choices that will make you lose weight. I don't want to know about these things in detail because I don't know what to do about it. I'm not a professional, and especially if you won't share these things with... And they weren't like, oh, I'm doing this, I don't know how to, make it better. They were doing this in a way that it felt almost braggy, almost like, ha ha ha, I'm not eating any calories, that kind of situation. Expanded things got shitty, they expected me to fix them. Like, they would have psychosis and stuff, and they would expect me to stay there and hear them talk about how they felt bubbles and terrifying things, and would tell me about all the terrible... Just a way to get in my mind, like I was the only person that could help them, even though they were going to therapy, but they didn't trust their therapist and trust some random person online. Like, I don't get what was going on in their mind, but yeah, it was kind of crappy. So, also they had a best friend called Janet. I mean, she wasn't called Janet, but I'm gonna call her Janet for this video. They would also drag each other down, so Robin and Janet would actually purposefully drag each other down, tell about how the world was terrible and no one cared about the world, and that shit... it was a very toxic environment to be around, obviously, because I was always trying to lift both of them up, and they would just tear each other and me, because I was in that group's chat, down, just purposefully. And I would put into a group chat with, like, people that would share self-harm stuff. Robin was just like, well, here, it's this group chat, everyone needs help and stuff, and that's how I also met Ali, which was one of the people that I actually like still in this group chat, in this story. Because Ali was never a bad guy, he was always trying to help everybody, was always so involved in things, and of course he would have his bad moment, but he would always be like, I want to get better. Like, he had his bad moments, but he was always like trying to get back on his feet and share positive things and try to get Robin back on their feet, Janet back on their feet. They would just try so incredibly hard to do that stuff. And Ollie was genuinely such a good guy. And, well, I always video called with Robin, like, every fucking night almost. And, it was not great, to be honest. And, sometimes shit went down and Robin would just, scare us with serious suicide kind of tendencies that they would just, like, be like, I want to kill myself, and disappear for literal hours. Like, they would disappear for an entire day. I don't know why, they would just scare us like that. So, also, Ollie always thought that it was his fault, so he would just be like, oh no, that Robin killed themselves, that's my fault, and I should die, pretty much. So, yeah, that was bad. I don't talk to him anymore. I should probably talk to him because I like him. I liked the way that he would not give up on things, and he would just be like, he wanted a better life for himself. And I think at this time he would be 15. I don't know if he's still alive, honestly, but he's 15 right now. I'm pretty sure, because he was 13 at the time. Anyway, it just got really bad when we were introduced to a guy named Alexander, which... he was actually dating also Robin. because, well, Robin and I kind of discussed that, well, since we can't be together, we can both, date other people, which is fine. I don't have anything against polyamorous relationships. It was just, didn't really fucking give a shit at that situation. I cared, but I didn't care that much because I knew that things would get different in the end. So apparently this kid called Alexander was also dating Robin. And apparently Robin had said to him that he was their main person, their main love interest. And even though Robin has always said to me that I was their main love interest, so that was crappy. And at some point there was a group chat made with Alexander in there, Robin in there, Ollie in there, and Janet in there. And at some point Robin would be like, we are all now in a polyamorous relationship, with like, even though Ollie was straight and had a crush on Robin, and Janet was asexual. Alexander was also a straight guy. So I don't remember exactly what happened after this point because it got ridiculous and I didn't fucking give a shit anymore because I was always so done with all the manipulation tactics and all the super guilt-trippy and super toxic environments that I would just put in all the time, which I could have just removed myself from, but I was an idiot at the time, okay? I was 17, I was older than all of these kids, but for some reason I felt trapped because it was like the same situation that I've always been in, and because it used to be with older people, this stuff was really, really getting to me a lot of the times. So I don't really remember what happened after this point, but I know that Alexander ended up being an actual douche canoe. And he blamed it on his ADHD as well. So we were talking to him and he would just be like, no, I'm not me. I'm just like super struggling with my ADHD and stuff. And I would just be like, yeah, so what? Me too. I'm not a dick, so shut up. That would really upset me as well. So Robin and Janet would fight a lot as well. And then Robin would complain to me about it, which was really sucky to me because even though Janet and I weren't really necessarily friends, it was still crappy when Robin would just spill all the beans to me. Because I don't know, it was just a big mess and I felt really trapped in all this fucking drama. So at some point Robin left, pretty much got mad at us for some reason after Robin broke up with Alexander, even though we had nothing to do. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was crappy. And then at some point me and Ollie decided to write a letter to Robin, and I found it back. So I'm just gonna read some parts of it because that is also the reason I wanted to actually make this video, because I read this and I was like, oh my god, there was so much drama and I want to talk about it. So it started with, hey Robin, we know that if you open this letter, we are probably already lucky. We just want to send you this letter because there's so much that has happened and we understand that you didn't want to have us on social media anymore. We are both so sad to miss you and we really want to set things straight with you. After all, to both of us, you mean the world. Like, there was a part of me that was true about this because I did really care and I always care about people. It's just something I do. But on the other hand, I was so done with this, right? I was so done with this, but Ollie cared so much and I didn't want to, not try because I knew how upset Ollie was about it. So I wrote this part: when I win, listen to Twin Skeletons by Fall Out Boy. I almost automatically think of you. When I speak German or French, I automatically think of you. Why, you may ask? Well, I didn't really know the lyrics to Twin Skeletons before I met you. And I found your random German always so funny. When I say je parle un peu de français, I can only think of the time that you said that means literally nothing to me, because I always think it's funny when someone doesn't know when what I just speak a little French means in French. Then some inside jokes that I don't remember. You and I made more memories than I made with a lot of my in real life friends, and that's just because I'm a lonely loser, blah blah blah. And it was like, I only now think of you when I think of all my friends and the people who were there for me. You've always helped me out when you could, and we really want to help, blah blah blah. It's just pretty much talking about, and we both don't speak to Alexander anymore, either way. By the way, Alexander changed his name. Something he was first named something, and then he changed his name to Alice or something. I don't remember. It was weird. Whether you accept this letter or not, just know that in our hearts we will remember you. We will love you even if you don't speak to we don't speak to each other anymore. Stay strong, stay frosty, keep running and keep sitting. We love you. It was weird, okay? It was so weird. So, at some point, Roman did come back and was not okay. So they were hallucinating pretty much and, in psychosis. And my uneducated ass, I'm stupid that I said this, but I said pretty much your hallucination, your Mr. Unknown or something like that, isn't real. I shouldn't have said that, right? But they were hallucinating all the fucking time and having these psychotic episodes, and they wouldn't tell their therapist about it, and I was so upset about this. And I did not have any degree in psychology. I did not know how to deal with these situations. They would always come to me about this, and I was just so done. I was so done. I was getting to, I was upset about this, and I didn't want to be around them anymore. So they ended up telling me that they hated me and that I was a liar. After what, they blocked me, and I didn't talk to me for 3 months. So after this, they came back and said, I love you and I miss you so much. You didn't talk to me for 3 fucking months. You don't expect me to just oh yeah, I love you too. No, I didn't. So I was like, no, I don't love you like that anymore. I love you like a sibling, what was a nice thing, because they were treated me like crap. And they got really upset and telling me that all this energy they put into me, which is weird because, as I told you, I was the one trying to help her constantly, put in all these stupid situations where they would share all this super toxic information about themselves and the super triggering stuff. And this is the reward I get, all that kind of stuff, and just basically just trying to guilt trip me into hurting them, I guess, and it was just pretty crappy. And at some point I was just like, okay, what do you want to do? So they were like, well, I think that was the next day. They were like, if I can't have you, then I don't want to be friends with you. And I was like, fine, So that was kind of how that ended. And then at some point they would just message me like, oh, hi, Win, you're alive, what happened? And I was just like, you're a terrible person to me. And, they did tell me this. I think that they suffered from amnesia. So, which is the reason that shit did not always go as smoothly, but that is not my problem. And that's not an excuse to treat me like fucking crap either. So, even though they treated me like crap, and I know that shit wasn't their fault, they were still a victim of their own mind and are all evil, but it was a really tough situation to me. And Alexander was also a fucking dickhole, and he blamed it on his ADHD. That's not a fucking excuse. You can have mental illness, and I do have mental illness, and I made mistakes in this situation, accepting the fucking relationship that I shouldn't have accepted. Alexander would also join the down-talking in group chat when Janet and Robin were doing it, while shooting me a DM saying was on my side. I was being torn down by 3 people while trying to stay positive, while everyone was spewing toxic bullshit. He was such a coward. But at the end of the day, you're still responsible for the things that you do. And I will fucking say sorry for saying yes to the relationship in the first place. And I will say sorry for being a stupid ass bitch, accepting all of this shit to happen. And I will. And I'm sorry that this happened. But it was still a very crappy situation to me. And, well, I never got a sorry, and I don't expect one. But you cannot blame your mental health stuff for this. I remember very vividly they would say in a group chat that, oh, I have not eaten anything for the past 24 hours or something. And someone would literally reply, fucking eat something, please. And they were like, oh, I have anorexia, I can't eat because yada yada yada, and you don't get it, and then left the fucking group. Why are you telling us that you didn't eat for 24 hours? As a braggy thing, and then expect no one to say fucking eat something? I don't get that at all. What do you want us to say? Oh, I'm so sorry for you. I don't get it. What do you want? You want attention because you got it. Someone told you to eat, and I get it, it's not that easy, but fuck, I don't understand this behavior at all. Don't get it. I just don't get it. It's really crappy and toxic, and don't share your triggering information, and I don't expect people to be like, fuck off, you know? So yeah, that was something that I found really upsetting. Also because they would constantly talk about their last suicide attempt and then expect me to be like, and then tell me that I saved them, which didn't happen because I wasn't around when it was their suicide attempt. So either that was due to amnesia, or it was due to trying to, gaslight me. I am pretty sure it was the first thing because they did not have their shit together. So this is a really long video, by the way. Yeah, so I hope it was somehow coherent. I know I'm not good at making coherent stuff, but this is a really upsetting situation for me, and even though I partially created it, my dumbass. So yeah, I'm gonna go now. I hope y'all at least can laugh at me being a dumbass.